Welcome to the shadow frequency, where the veil between this world and the next grows thin, and the things that whisper in the dark are given voice. From the cryptic candlelit studios, deep in the Indiana forests, your host, Matt Wilson, and his spectral producer, Juniper Ravenwood, unearth the forbidden, the forgotten, and the fearsome. So, still your heart, dim the light, and listen closely. For once you tune into the shadow frequency, you may never tune out.
No, Juniper, not the bottom drawer.
Oh, come on, I didn't even pull it all the way. Nope. Phew. Okay, reminder accepted. Don't touch the cursed drawer.
You know that thing behaves like a portal on a bad mood swing. One wrong tug and we're broadcasting live from 1973 or the Orion Arm.
Yeah. Look, I'm just trying to find tonight's folder. Let me check the normal drawer. Huh. Matt, why is there a mirror in here?
Oh, that old thing? That's the mirror that won't reflect. Wait, hold on. Why are you not showing up in it?
Oh, come on. You're right. When I hold it towards you, I can see you perfectly reflected, and I'm just static, like a smudge someone tried to erase.
Yeah, that's not ideal, Juniper. Mirrors usually betray supernatural secrets, and right now yours is screaming glitch in the Matrix.
Okay, well, I'm not dealing with that tonight. Absolutely not. Getting rid of that before it starts whispering my social security number in Latin.
All right, deep breath. Let's try again.
Yep. Just your producer rummaging through artifacts that hate her. What could go wrong? Nope. Definitely not that. Oh, absolutely not touch that. Ah, here it is. Episode number 249.
Tonight's dive into the deep end of the classified pool.
Project Looking Glass 2.0. The Post-2012 timeline reactivation.
Alleged timeline viewing tech reactivated after 2012. And the part no one talks about.
The kids. The ones supposedly born with boosted remote viewing abilities.
If true, it's not just a conspiracy, it's the biggest shift in human perception in 100 years.
So grab your seat, keep your reflection close, and whatever you do, don't open the bottom drawer.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. Hosted by Matt Wilson. Produced by Juniper Ravenwood. With Chris Beach. The darkness continues.
Picture this, folks. It's the dead of night in the Nevada desert, where the stars hang too low and the wind whispers secrets through the scrub. Deep underground, in a bunker that's more shadow than structure,
a faint hum starts up. Quantum coils spinning. Probability fields flickering like bad dreams on a screen. And in the center of it all?
Not some grizzled operative in a lab coat, but a kid. Wide-eyed, small hands pressed against cold glass, staring into futures that twist and splinter like veins in marble. This is Project Looking Glass 2.0, the ghost of a program that should have died in 2012, but called its way back using the purest, most fragile minds we have, children. Welcome to episode 249 of The Shadow Frequency. I'm Juniper, your guide through the veil, and tonight we're peering into the abyss of time itself.
Oh, Juniper, you always know how to set the chills rippling.
Right.
If the original Looking Glass was the government's peephole into tomorrow, this sequel sounds like they cracked open Pandora's playroom.
Yeah.
Strap in, listeners. We're diving into whispers of reactivated tech, tiny seers mapping timelines that shouldn't exist, and futures so fractured they bleed into the now.
Ooh.
By the end, you might start wondering if that deja vu you've been feeling is really you, echoing back from somewhere else.
Echoes from somewhere else. Now that's the kind of hook that keeps me up at night. All right, Matt, the crypt's yours. Take us under.
Thanks, Juniper, for digging into the file cabinet and pulling out this dusty, dangerous dossier. Man, every time we crack open one like this, it's like inviting a draft from the other side. Cool, insistent, and full of things that brush your neck when you're not looking. Tonight's case, Project Looking Glass 2.0. If you've been riding the shadow waves with us for a while, you know the original tale, that black-budget beast from the 90s and early aughts, pieced together from whispers of reverse-engineered alien tech, Sumerian seals, and enough argon gas to choke a storm. It wasn't just a machine, it was a mirror to the multiverse, letting operators spin through probable futures like flipping channels on a TV from hell. Cities rising and falling, wars blinking in and out, all converging on that fateful date, December 21st, 2012, the end of the Mayan calendar, the nexus point where timelines supposedly knotted up, and the device, well, it went haywire. Spikes in the readings, feedback loops that fried circuits and minds alike. Official word? Mothballed, buried under layers of red tape and denial. But here's where the real shiver starts, friends. What if they didn't shut it down? What if, in the quiet after the world's non-apocalypse, they rebooted it, quieter, deeper, and with a twist that turns your stomach? Let's set the scene, because the atmosphere here is everything. It's the pulse of the story. Imagine a facility carved into the Nevada Badlands. Not the flashy Area 51 tourist trap, but something humbler, more hidden. No razor wire under spotlights, just miles of empty scrub. A chain-link fence sagging like it's tired of secrets. And a single access road that dead ends at what looks like an abandoned mine shaft. But descend. Oh, descend with me. Elevators groaning on cables thick as your arm, dropping you 3 levels past where any sane person would stop. Level 4. Sterile corridors lit by that harsh buzzing fluorescence that makes shadows too sharp, too hungry. Air recyclers humming a low dirge, carrying the faint tang of ozone and something sweeter, like chalk dust from a schoolroom long forgotten. And then the observation rooms, each one a cube of one-way glass, climate-controlled to 68 degrees, with soft blue lighting to soothe the operators. But these aren't your grizzled psychics from the Stargate days. No, sir. These are kids. 8, 10, 12 years old maybe, picked from the fringes. Rural homeschoolers who saw things in their dreams. Foster cases with intuition that spooked the caseworkers. Or the quiet ones in psyche vows who sketched blueprints of places they'd never visited. They're not strapped down. No, that's too crude for 2.0. Just a comfy chair, noise-canceling headphones tuned to theta waves, and a little joystick for navigating the views. Snacks on a side table, graham crackers, juice boxes, to keep it all feeling like recess, except recess doesn't echo with the hum of quantum entanglement coils, doesn't make the air taste like static before a storm. The reactivation, they say, kicked off in late 2013, not with fanfare, but with anomalies, spikes in neutrino detectors across the Southwest, unexplained blips on satellite feeds showing overlaps, skylines from New York bleeding into Tokyo for split seconds, or a flock of birds frozen mid-flight over the Atlantic, replaying like a glitchy hologram. Black-budget spooks, those alphabet soup agencies that don't even have names you can pronounce, noticed the pattern. The old Looking Glass files got dusted off, cross-referenced with declassified remote viewing docs from the 70s. Remember those? The ones where CIA eggheads tried staring down the KGB from 1,000 miles away? Yeah, those. But post-2012, the math had changed. The convergence point wasn't a wall anymore. It was a whirlpool. Futures weren't linear. They forked like lightning cracks in obsidian. And the old machine? Too clunky, too prone to melting down when the fields got too wild. So they upgraded. Less spinning rings and argon barrels, more neural lace, subdermal threads that sync the device's probability engines directly to the operator's pineal gland. It's like hot wiring the third eye, folks. No more mediating through adults with their baggage and beta waves. Go straight to the source. Kids, their brains are quantum playgrounds, unscarred, fluid, able to slip through the cracks in reality like water through fingers. I can almost see it, can't you? A session starting innocent. Little Emily, say 10 years old, braids and freckles. The kind of kid who collects fireflies in jars. She's briefed casual, like it's a video game beta test. Just think about tomorrow, sweetie. Push the stick forward for later, back for sooner. The room seals with a soft hiss. Lights dim to violet. And then, contact. Her eyes glaze, not with boredom, but with that far-off stare, like she's listening to a radio only she can hear. The monitors light up. Not flat screens, but holographic projections, swirling vortices of light that bend the air. At first, it's mundane, her schoolyard next week, rain puddling the swings, but nudge deeper, past the convergence veil, and oh boy, overlapping skylines, towers of glass and vine, choked ruins phasing in and out, symbols flickering, spirals within spirals, eyes etched in fractal gold, that no one's cataloged in any ancient text, dates repeating like a stuck clock. 2027, 2034, 2012, looping back on itself. And the voices. God, the voices. Not from speakers, but bleeding through the walls, the floor, her skin. Whispers in accents from nowhere. It's folding. The ring is folding. Don't look too long, or it looks back. Emily twitches, sketches frantic glyphs on her notepad, circles collapsing inward, hands reaching from the ink. The texts lean in, scribbling furiously, hearts pounding because this isn't data, it's a distress call from tomorrow. And it's not just one kid, dozens rotated in shifts to avoid burnout. Little Jamal from the projects, who saw his block splinter into a riot of light and shadows, then a garden where the gangs grew tomatoes instead. Or Sarah, the redhead with the lazy eye, pulling threads of timelines where oceans rise slow and deliberate, swallowing coasts like boardrooms above toast to manage decline. They all report the same chills, a prickle at the base of the skull, like fingers tracing your spine from the inside. The more they look, the more the futures shift, not gently, but with jolts. One glance at a warhead arcing over the Pacific, and suddenly it's rerouted, crashing harmless into foam. Observe a plague blooming in the heartland, and it mutates benign, carried off by winds. But here's the hook that sinks deep. The observation isn't passive, it's alive. The device synced to their young minds doesn't just show probabilities, it tugs them. Like quantum cats in superposition, the futures collapse under the weight of tiny eyes. And as sessions stack twice a week, then daily, the bleed starts. Shared nightmares rippling through the dorms. All the kids bolting upright at 3:17 a.m., gasping about a sky full of rings. Or a city where everyone's face is blurred, erased. Missing time. Hours vanishing mid-play. Reclaimed later in fevered mutters about visiting the echo place. Emotional aftershocks, too. Giggles turning to sobs for no reason, or sudden rages over events feel remembered but aren't. One boy, they say, aged overnight after viewing a cascade of fires in 2042. His hair grayed at the temples, eyes hollow like he'd carried the smoke home. It's intoxicating, isn't it? This dance on the edge of what's real? The text, those white coat phantoms, they chase it harder. One more push, they murmur, adjusting the neural feeds. Because beyond the fractures, there's promise. Maps of timelines where the air cleans itself, where wars fizzle into handshakes, where that stable thread glimmers. Quiet streets, laughter without echo, a world intact. But to touch it, you have to stare through the dark ones first. The collapses, the voids where symbols choke and silence the voices. And the kids, they feel it most. Not just seeing, but touching, their dreams leaking into the feeds, small hands molding the clay of tomorrow. What if one wrong peek locks us all in? What if the ring they're drawing isn't a warning, but the door creaking shut? Phew, that's the file so far, friends. Halfway through, and already the air feels thicker, like the room's holding its breath. Makes you wonder what your own echoes are whispering right now.
Thicker? Matt, my skin's crawling like I've got tomorrow's regrets already.
Yeah.
Those kids, touching timelines, that's the stuff of unholy lullabies. What's lurking in the back half?
Oh, we're peeling back the curtain on the rogue hearts and buried memos next. The choices we might have already unmade. Stick around, the shadows get sharper. Over to you, Jay.
Halfway through, and I'm equal parts mesmerized and unnerved. Those fractured futures, the kids' sketches, it's like the universe is glitching right in our ears. What do you think, listeners? Would you let a machine peer into your tomorrows if it meant steering the ship? Or is ignorance the only safe harbor? Coming up, Matt digs into the cracks, the splinter groups, the warnings, and that one elusive peaceful thread. But first, we better pass it over to Chris for a quick word.
Thanks, Juniper. Hey everybody, Chris Beach here. And listen, if you love the ritual of great coffee but don't always want the full caffeine blast, you've got to check out Savorista Coffee. They craft premium decaf and half-calf blends with bold, rich flavors, all made from high-altitude, hand-picked Arabica beans. Everything's naturally decaffeinated using water or sugarcane-based methods, so there are zero harsh chemicals. Savorista works directly with farmers from Colombia, Ethiopia, Rwanda, and more. And their small batch roasting brings out those incredible flavor notes, like the chocolatey smooth profile in their Colombian Inspiration decaf. And here's the best part. Shadow Frequency listeners get 25% off any product with the promo code SHADOW25 at savorista.com. All right, I'm grabbing another cup. Back to you, Juniper.
All right, now let's fire up that spectral cosmic message materializer, flipping the switches now, coaxing the ether with a little twist of the dial. Oh, there we go, sparks flying, stags humming like a distant storm. Let's see what spectral message it's conjured from the void.
Message retrieved from the void.
Yeah, drifting in like fog off a forgotten lake. Cracking the seal on this ethereal envelope, and inside, a heartfelt dispatch from one of our night owl kin. Says, hi, Matt and Juniper. My name's Brenda H., checking in from a small town in northwest Arkansas. I just wanted to drop you a note and say how much I absolutely love the Shadow Frequency. Most nights after I finally get the kids tucked in and wrestle the kitchen back into some kind of order, I put in my earbuds and turn on your show. That's my quiet time, just me, the warm glow of the stove light, and whatever weirdness you two are diving into. I listen on Pandora, and it's basically become part of my nightly ritual at this point. My favorite episodes are anything involving hauntings, cryptids, or those eerie old conspiracy cases you dig up. Something about those topics mixed with Quiet House at Night makes the dishes go quicker, or at least creepier. Thanks for keeping me entertained, spooked, and laughing, even on the busiest nights. You two feel like late-night friends in the room with me, just the haunted Conite stay weird out there, Brenda H. Oh, Brenda, you absolute gem, tucked in with the kids, scrubbing pots under that stove light halo, and letting our shadows keep you company. That's the ritual we live for. Makes the witching hour feel a little less lonely, doesn't it? Like we're all huddled around a campfire in the dark, swapping tales of the unseen. Hauntings and cryptids for the win, nothing like a Sasquatch silhouette to make those counters sparkle. Keep those earbuds glowing, friend. You're the heartbeat in this frequency, and hey, if the dishes ever start whispering back, you know where to send the dispatch. Reminder, folks, got your own brush with the bizarre? Leave it our way at chatopodcast@protonmail.com. We thrive on your echoes. All right, that warmth's got me recharged. Matt, the vault's open again. Take us deeper.
You are tuned to the Shadow Frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. The darkness continues.
Brenda, if you're tuning in from that Arkansas kitchen right now, know this: your notes like a lifeline tossed into the static. Proof we're not just voices in the void, but companions in the creep. Juniper, that mailbag's always the perfect palate cleanser before we plunge back in. Thanks for the handoff. Now, where were we? Yeah, those observation cubes, humming with the weight of unborn tomorrows. Little minds threading the needle through the convergence. But let's lean into the fractures now, because that's where the real haunt lives, in the splintering, the bleed, and the desperate hands trying to hold the weave together. Pick up the thread with me. By 2015, the sessions are ramping. Kids cycling through like shifts in a fever dream factory. The upgrades are paying off in spades. The neural entanglements so refined, they're not just viewing anymore, they're dipping toes into the streams. Jamal comes out of one dive sweating, babbling about a timeline where the Mississippi boils over in 28. But he nudged it, felt the water recede like it hurt him. The tech's high five in the control booth, scribbling vectors for positive convergence. But then the anomalies stack. Shared hallucinations leaking across sessions. All the children, even the ones off shift, sketching that same inward collapsing ring. A black hole, Ouroboros, devouring its tail. Dates cluster around it. 2031, a year that pulses like a migraine in their feeds. Voices sharpen too. Not whispers now, but please. Stop looking, they hiss in Emily's ears during a midnight session, her small frame arching like it's caught in a current. The observation's the anchor. You're weighing us down. The monitors spike. Holograms warping into feedback loops where the kids' own faces flicker into the futures. Older, hollowed, mouthing warnings back at themselves. Physical toll mounts, noses bleeding argon-scented crimson. Skin modeling with fractal patterns that fade by morning. One girl, they whisper, vanished for 47 minutes mid-view. Reappeared, curled fetal, humming a melody no one's traced. Her pupils blown wide as saucers. And here's where the human rot creeps in, friends. The scientists aren't monsters in lab coats. They're addicts, chasing the high of godhood. Late-night logs leaked in fragments to those UFO bulletin boards that thrive in the dark web's underbelly paint them frantic. Subject 14 confirmed bleed-through. Emotional imprint from catastrophic stream B7. Subject reports grief for 2.3 million souls. Event horizon 2045. Recommend theta suppression. But suppression's a joke. The kids' brains are a bridge now, and burning it means losing the view. Instead, they double down, piping in subliminals, gentle waves to focus intent. Yet the futures rebel. Splintering accelerates. One feed shows a golden age, renewables blooming wild. Peace treaties signed under auroras that dance eternal. Pull back, and it's ash. Skies choked with drone swarms. Symbols etched in fallout clouds. The more they probe, the more unstable it gets, like staring at the sun until it stares back, scorching your retinas. Psychological bleed turns communal. Dorms alive with synchronized sobs at dawn. Kids trading memories of disasters they preempted, tsunamis that crested but broke gentle, plagues that fizzled into fluss. Exhaustion etches them small. Playtime devolves into huddled circles, drawing rings within rings, chanting dates like incantations. It's not prediction, one memo reads, voice to text from a trembling hand. It's provocation. We're not mapping, we're midwifing. Now, imagine the pressure cooker. Black budget billions funneled through shell corps, oversight from spooks who view ethics as a speed bump, but cracks form. Enter the rogue teams, not wide-eyed idealists, but hardened vets from the original program, haunted by 90s sessions that left them with migraines that echoed prophecies. Dr. Elena Voss, say, 50s, sharp as shattered glass, who ran point on the neural lacing. She notices the patterns first. Kids' vitals syncing not just with each other, but with seismic twitches worldwide. Accession peaks and fault lines grown in Chile. Another and stock tickers glitch with phantom crashes. We're not observers, she argues in encrypted huddles. We're editors, slashing choices from the script. The splinter group forms and whispers. Voss, a quantum physicist gone gray from ghost math, a child psychologist who pulled too many pint-sized mediums from the brink, and a whistleblower tech from the old Montauk fringes, they pool data, feeds showing the ring's collapse accelerating, probabilities funneling toward a self-fulfilling lock. Not apocalypse, but atrophy, a future where free will's a relic, every fork pre-chosen by the act of peaking. Their play? Sabotage subtle, tweaked algorithms to favor the stable threads, leaked coordinates to fringe physicists who might amplify the choice waves. One night, they slip Voss into a cube, let her sink raw. She emerges shaking, babbling of a timeline unspooling gentle. No rings, no voices, just quiet bloom. Shut it all, she gasps. The peaceful one's the default. We force the fractures. But the house always wins, doesn't it? Alarms trip, logs purge, and the rogues vanish, reassigned to consulting gigs in sunnier climates, or worse, their echoes flickering in the feeds as warnings. The final rumor? That leaked memo dated 2017, redacted to hell but smuggled out of via a janitor's thumb drive. Subject 27 achieved purity lock, stable stream omega, intact biosphere, human vectors uncoerced, probability 1.0 unviewed. Then the kicker? Access protocol, full termination. Observation is the curse, blindness the key. It cuts off there mid-sentence, like the writer blinked out. Is it still humming down there? Kids' eyes glazing over fresh visions? Or did they pull the plug, leaving us adrift in the one timeline we chose blind? All right, full circle. Makes your pulse echo, doesn't it? But hey, before we seal the file, a quick chew. All this quantum kid whispering? Grounded in real remote viewing trials from the 70s, sure. But ramp it to sci-fi and you've got echoes of MK Ultra's darker doodles. Psyche games on the young that left scars we still feel. Could be metaphor, a collective fever for control in chaotic times. Or maybe the ring's already tightening. What do you say, listeners? Peak or seal?
Metaphor or midwifery? Matt, that memo's got me side-eyeing my own shadows.
Yeah.
If blindness is the key, why does it feel like we're all fumbling in the dark already?
Because maybe the real haunt's not the futures we see, but the choices we pretend aren't ours. File closed for now, but the hum lingers. Juniper, wrap us up.
What a ride, Shadow Seekers. From Nevada bunkers to splintered tomorrows, Project Looking Glass 2.0 reminds us some veils are thinner than we think, and toting them might unravel the thread. Thanks for braving the frequency with us tonight. Your company makes the chills worthwhile. If tonight's whisper stirred something in you, drop us a line, shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Catch more echoes on the website at shadowfrequencypodcast.com. And you can find us on social media and all the podcast directories. We're everywhere the weird gathers. Tune back in soon for the next strange case. Who knows what file I will unearth out of the cabinet. Matt, you want to say goodnight?
Good night, Shadow Seekers. Dream gentle, choose bold, and remember, the future's not set until you look away.
And fade the static we go. Sweet unset dreams, everyone.
This episode was conjured with a solemn vow to explore the unexplained while remaining bound to the truths that have been unearthed. All interpretations are speculative and offered only for your enlightenment and your entertainment.